Jeez. Oh, hey, look at that. I thought it'd be hard to take out. Oh,
No.
Dude, it's still good. It's just loosened up a bit. All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are here today taking apart one of the motors that we got to get Liam back on the road. So if you'll remember, a while back, we finally hurt this motor. Well, motor finally let go. Stock 5.3, been together for a really long time. It's an L33, and unfortunately we clogged up our fuel filters, we dropped fuel pressure, went lean, and broke something in it. So we're gonna go ahead and prep the new motor that we're going to put in there. At least start prepping it. So Tony's taking apart, or taking off the oil pan right now, because we want to see. We know that it's a Gen 3 motor, but I'm not too sure. I know some of the years, like for example, L33s, they're Gen 3 on the outside, but Gen 4 on the inside from the factory. So I want to see what internals are in here. It's going to determine whether we use this motor, or this bottom end, for the truck or for the El Camino. We do have a good Gen 4 internal bottom end on this one, because this bottom end, or this entire motor, is an L33, but it has good heads and a good cam inside that we're gonna use for the El Camino. We're thinking, because of the power that we're wanting to go with on the El Camino, you know, around 1400 horsepower, we might do a piston and rod motor on for the El Camino. So instead of taking out good Gen 4 internals out of this and putting forged pistons and rods in it, we're thinking about using this Gen 4 bottom end for the truck. So putting these stock heads, or maybe those stock heads, not too sure which ones we're going to use just yet, on that Gen 4 internal motor, put that into the truck, and then use this, if it's all Gen 3 internals, to take those out, because we have no use for those, them's little weak bitches. And we're gonna put forged pistons and rods in that with those good heads and that good cam, and use it for the El Camino. So that's the plan as of right now. If we take this apart and we find out that it has Gen 4 internals as well, we're gonna slap that pan right back on there and start prepping this motor to go directly into the truck. So we'll see. She'll get this tray off, and then we'll take a look at the pistons and rods. I don't even know what the hell I'm looking at, because I'm not actually very familiar with these motors. Despite what you may think, because, you know, we do a lot of racing with the truck, we've only had 2 motors, and we've only had to take apart 2 motors that we already knew had Gen 4 internals in them. So I'm not actually very familiar with these things, because I don't know, they just don't break. So it's not like we've had to really dig into them very much. We put some head gaskets and head studs, valve springs and retainers, and send it. That's it. We don't even take apart the bottom end. We don't gap the rings. We don't do any of that. Most of these motors have like above 160,000 miles on them. So we figured they're loose enough that they're good for the kind of power and heat that we're gonna put in them. So, all right, she'll take the rest of that apart, and we'll check out the internals. All right. Oh, look at that. I have no idea what we're looking at.
We both know the same amount of stuff.
Yeah, nothing. I don't know, it's weird, because they look small to me, but I mean, it's a stock rod, so they're not gonna look all that big. I don't really know how to identify. And like, so everything that I look up, like the sloppy mechanics, or we were looking at some of Matt's videos, like this area right here is like really rounded and narrower. And then the rod itself, like the beam on it, one side was rounded and the other side was sharp. And on the Gen 4 stuff, everything was like, you know, straight angle, just like this. So I think they're 4s. I think they're Gen 4s, but I mean,
Can we take
I don't know.
the heads and look at the top of the piston?
I think that's what we're gonna have to do. We gotta take the heads off anyway. I realized I'm an idiot. I was thinking like, oh, well, if we identify that they're Gen 4s, then we can just put the pan back on and, you know, get ready to go. Well, I'm an idiot. We gotta take the valve springs and retainers out of these heads anyway, and change out the head studs. So yeah, let's pop the heads off, and then we should be able to confirm it from that. Because the tops should be a flat top of some sort. If they're dished, then I think that's Gen 3 for sure. No, I don't know. I'm sure there's like tons of people watching the video right now, and they're like, dude, that's clearly Gen 3 or that's clearly Gen 4. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Thought you guys would have noticed this by now.
I clearly don't know what I'm doing.
No, you got an excuse. My excuse is, I don't know. I just
do it for the gram.
Yeah, be sure to put those bolts on with the screwdriver so you can get a good Instagram picture.
That's how I took them off.
All right, so we'll get these heads off, and hopefully that will tell us what we got. Just put 2 in, like one on with this corner, one on that. So yeah, this mechanical stuff, I'm like completely, for the most part, out of my element. Everybody watching this is probably better at like wrenching on cars than I am. I just do the tuning stuff. To be honest with you, my like skill, the only skill that I have as far as automotive stuff goes is just troubleshooting. I'm pretty good at thinking through things and troubleshooting. That's about it. And so that's why I kind of end up more on the tuning side of things, because it's just constantly looking at things and determining how to react to them and anticipate, you know, future things that might happen from the stuff that, you know, the motor's telling you or the chassis is telling you. Just looking at something and determining what we should do from that point. But all this motor stuff, I don't know how to identify any of this crap. I always had friends that were faster at working on these cars than I am, so I just never ended up working on them. That's why she's working on this, because even she, as limited knowledge as she has, is faster at this than I am. So if you didn't know, that's where the Slower Than You name comes from. It's not from having slow cars. Liam will gap the shit out of you.
You are pretty slow.
We'll see how fast the Alpino goes. I know how fast it should go, so don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck it up.
Don't let Liam beat you.
Well, fuck you up.
You should be like half a second faster than him.
Don't you worry your pretty little head.
All right, we'll get these heads off and then see what we got. Take that sucker off.
Oh, I was waiting for you.
I mean, it's ready, right? Yeah. Gasket might try to come with it. No, got lucky. Oh, it's leaking all over you.
Oh.
Oh man. Yeah.
Oh, look, they're flat.
Yeah, we got an L33. We had asked him for an L33, but I can't remember what it was. I think it was because the heads are 243s. So I thought all L33s came with 799s. So when we saw the 243s, I was like, we'll see what kind of Gen 3 we got. Those rods that we were looking at are definitely Gen 4 or Gen 4-ish. I mean, I don't care. Basically what it means is this is probably a different year than what we have in there and what we have over there. But we know we can make 1150 on this and be okay, because that's what we've done to that poor thing, and it handled it just fine. So this is huge. This is really, really good.
No musical motors.
Yeah, exactly. No musical motors. We can keep that as it is, and now we've got another Gen 4 internal bottom end. So anyway, yeah, I mean, nothing crazy bad looking here. This looks like it's in great condition, especially for the miles that we're pretty sure it had on it. That's one of the things. Damn, you can even see cross-hatching in these cylinders still. I don't know if you'll be able to see that on the camera, but...
Did you get new lifters?
No, we don't have new lifters.
Oh.
We can get some. I mean, we're not ready to put the... We don't have any head studs. We either got to steal those head studs or we got to get new ones.
Isn't it frowned upon to steal those ones? Okay.
We're gonna probably reuse those. Oh, how many times have we torqued those down? It's only once.
Oh, I forget. It was those.
Yeah, this one's the one that we made a mistake on. That one... So that was your motor. We only torqued him down once.
I always yell at people for reusing.
No, I yelled at Joey because he torqued him down 6 times. He reused the same studs 6 times. That's a bit much.
So can we reuse your lifters?
As long as we don't look like there's a whole lot of metal in the system, then yeah, we should be able to reuse those. So, yeah, I don't know if that's frowned upon either. I don't really care, because I know that shit'll work. We're not really straining these things. Everybody thinks that like 1,000 horsepower is a lot on these things, but you gotta understand what 1,000 horsepower is per hole on these. It's not like, you know, if you make 1,000 horsepower in a 4-cylinder, you're talking about 250 per cylinder. That's a lot. On these, it's half as much, and they're bigger cylinders, so you know you're talking about a lot less strain. So we'll get these cleaned up, and I guess we'll just start prepping a couple things. We're gonna have to go to Summit and get a few items. Okay, leave it. Okay, go. Keep going. Okay. Okay. Keep going. Remember, it's gotta go down. Okay. Remember to go back to that one. Okay, do this one. It was not your sound, babe.
Okay. I was gonna say.
Right.
Oh shit, sorry.
fine. Okay, do this one again. Okay. No, I must have. Yeah, I did that. It's hard to push directly in the center. Okay, cool. I think we good. I think we got a healthy one. Hopefully not too healthy. I know how we like them old hoard out ones. Okay, so that kind of confirms it. We don't really have a whole lot else to do on this motor until we get that other one out. So I guess we'll clean up here and shift gears to get over there. Sound good? What do you think? You have that out in about 45 minutes?
That one?
Yeah, be good.
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Okay. All right, so we're getting ready to take everything out of here. Oh yeah, you missed. There's two. A little bit extra work to take the panels off. You don't technically have to. We could get it out without it, but it's just way easier to work on. I mean, you could literally like sit on the tire while you're getting all the manifold stuff off. So I'm gonna pop all that off and then we'll start hammering on the rest. All right, so we got all the fluids drained. We drained out the oil. It actually wasn't really that bad. So whatever breakage we did have, it didn't stay running for very long after it broke. So I think it's, we're not supposed to, I didn't expect to see a bunch of fuel in the oil or anything like that. Since we were doing the methanol and pump gas mixture, I did expect to see like just more fuel in it just from running the car. A little bit of milkiness in it, but it really wasn't. So it's good. The 50% of methanol apparently is, as we would expect, putting 50% less methanol into the oil. So it's definitely manageable as like a drive around fuel, not just a race fuel where you have to stay on top of the oil and suck the fumes out of the valve covers and change oil really often. So that's good news, because this kind of interrupted our 50-50 methanol mix testing. Took the tie pipe off and noticed there's some thingies in here. Not too sure what that is. Oh, yes. So everybody that guessed on the Facebook page, if you guessed head gasket or some shit like that.
Ooh, glitter.
Glitter indeed. So I think we can be pretty darn sure we've got a good amount of piston gone.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
So I don't know if it came completely apart. We'll find out in a moment, but definitely aluminum in there, so parts of piston went away. And that's what I figured it was, because we knew we had a lot more crankcase pressure than normal the first time that we had the filters clog and it went lean. So I figured once we did the same exact thing again, even worse, it was probably just gonna take out the rest of that piston or take out another piston, or multiple, I don't know. It actually still ran for a little while. You can see in the video, like after it let go and I let out, it actually stayed, it decelled down and then it stayed idling for a little while and then it completely died. So I'm thinking it's only one, and I bet you, I'm gonna put my money on number 5. We haven't even taken out the spark plugs yet. So I'll pull out one of the plugs once we get the turbo stuff off and everything, and that'll show us which one's actually hurt. I'm gonna guess number 5, but yeah, which one? What do you think?
Number 1.
You got number 1?
No, wait, number 2, because you're always in second.
Darn. Got the turbo off and more evidence of aluminum that should not be there. Oh yeah, we got some more in there too. So the big worry on this is did the turbo survive? So looking at the blades that you can see on the outside, just when we took the downpipe off and looking at the wheel, it looks untouched. Everything looks fine. I'm hoping that the aluminum pieces were small enough they didn't hurt the exhaust wheel, but I don't know, we gotta see. Everything goes out in like such a high velocity that if it's a pretty solid piece when it hits it, Inconel's pretty solid and aluminum is pretty soft, especially if the aluminum was, molten. So I guess that's gonna be the question. Did the piston break apart and put solid pieces through, or did it melt and put, possibly some liquid or soft pieces through? Probably have to take that hot side off and give it a look, make sure the wheel's all good.
Oh shit.
See how big he is?
He's not that big. He's not as big as the biggest one.
No, yeah.
You see him? Here.
This is a problem.
Come here.
Oh, don't, he's gonna freak out.
See? See him? You don't. Oh my God, you were terrible. Oh.
No, he only smells them.
I know.
He, like, doesn't look at them.
Oh no, now he's back this way.
Yeah. Anyway, that's our issue. Whole another issue that we got to deal with. We got to get some cats for the shop or something, because we're pretty sure there's one in the truck right now too. Okay, back to the truck. We had a question of whether we were going to be able to use some of the parts from this motor, like the lifters and the oil pump, which, you know, we put a new, still stock oil pump, but it was a new one. And we put some stock LS7 lifters in here, and I'm pretty positive that anything that had oil going through it might be compromised. So, I mean, because this is up in the valve cover area, or when we took the valve cover off, we were able to see all of this. I mean, there's tons of debris in here. So yeah, really not good.
Turbo sponsors.
Yeah. So hopefully the turbo's okay. She's gonna pull this other one off and see if it's just as bad. So far we've got piston debris everywhere.
Is your gasket supposed to be like this?
No.
There's like one on this side and one on the back side.
Nice. Well, so whoever said piston, broken piston and gasket, I believe you are winning so far. Whoever guessed what happened bad. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. If it was enough force to shatter a piston, it was probably enough force to push the gasket out too. Yeah, it's gonna suck.
No, I mean, like, if you were a camera on the inside.
Oh yeah. Shit, even if you were just a camera, imagine sitting here, the camera sitting right there.
Watching it, yeah.
Yeah. Just watching it blow out.
I'm actually really excited you broke this, and I can see it.
Well, you know, it was the first one that we broke. Like, we didn't break anything, so we couldn't really, you know, participate in the carnage videos and stuff like that. But we got a good one now. It's crazy. I mean, this is what can happen when just a simple lean condition. You know, and it was only for a moment. I mean, you guys saw in the video, it was barely any time at all. All right, so I was getting ready to take out the converter bolts, and so I end up, you know, running a long extension to the back here where the starter used to be, and I just impact them out. But I realized I was able to turn the motor over to get to the first one that I got out, and I was like, ah, sweet, that's easy. I went to go turn the motor over to get to the next bolt, and of course, because nothing can be straightforward and easy, the motor is locked up. I mean, not completely. I can go, you know, back and forth a little bit, but I can't get to the next bolt. And I'm assuming that's because some of the pistons are gone, probably some of the rods are broken, and when I spin it over to a certain point, since there's nothing to keep the rod, you know, going up into its normal pathway, it's probably flopped down and is getting like bound up on the bottom of the, you know, sleeve or something like that. So, yeah, I'm gonna try to take the pan off, but I can't get the pan off until I drop the steering bars. So I gotta drop that, and then hopefully I get the pan off. Then hopefully I'll be able to undo the mounts and bring the motor forward enough before I can go up, so that it'll, I'm gonna try to keep the converter on the motor while taking it out. And then I'll get the converter off of there afterward. But yeah, nothing ever simple. We dropped the steering so that we could get the pan out. We get to see all of the shattery things. And a little bit of everything in here. But I'm curious to see, before we take the heads off, if we can figure out if there was more than one. Actually, it looks like maybe it was only one piston. A little bit of material too.
What'd you do?
I don't know. Scattered some stuff.
Oh man.
It's not as much material as I thought there was going to be, but I think a lot of it is stuck in the windage tray. Yeah, there's a bit of a party in here. Things got out of hand. So yeah, there's like this whole windage tray is all dented up and everything too, and I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but it's a whole bunch of awesomeness stuffed into there. Actually, I decided to take off the windage tray also because it was holding a bunch of crap on there. was hoping that maybe some of this stuff was actually what was binding up on the crank because it's so close. So that if I, take this down, maybe I can turn the motor and get the converter to come loose before I try to take the motor out. Yeah, this is what's clear so far is that there are 2 pistons in there. So I know 2 rods or pistons, obviously disintegrated. I'm sure none of the other ones look very good either, but yeah, we'll keep going and eventually see the whole picture. I mean, we kind of already know like most of the damage because we took the pan off, but I guess we'll see what the head looks like. Well, it's not the greatest.
What'd you do? Oh my god, that's awesome.
It didn't crash into the head as bad as I thought. All the damage on the head is from debris that came through. Jeez. Oh, hey, look at that. I thought it'd be hard to take out. Oh,
No.
Dude, it's still good. It's just loosened up a bit.
No, don't break it apart. Leave it.
Oh, shit. Let's go back together. It'll go back together. Anybody good at welding aluminum? Well, and then a couple of guys said the gasket would be really torched as well. I mean, it did blow out the middle of it. So, I mean, in the holes that saw the most shit. That one's not that bad. I mean, hell. I thought it'd be worse. Now, looking at the head. Yeah, dude. Not terrible. I mean, obviously this one it got really dinged up, so there's some sharp edges and stuff, but I thought this was gonna be like destroyed. I thought any of the ones that broke, it was just gonna send the piston directly into that shit. But it doesn't look like it ever actually came up. This is all just from pieces, debris and stuff. Damn. Okay. So close to being okay.
Jeeve.
I know.
Oh, look at those Tanya plugs. Intact. Patent pending. You could have yours too for the low price of hardware store hardware.
Is it ghetto if they work?
No.
Like, they're perfect. They just don't look all that great.
Oh, what are you talking about? Those look fantastic.
Nah, they don't look great.
Ooh, what do we got?
So only 2.
Oh.
One on one side, one on the other.
Is that 1, 2, 4, 6? So 6 and 1?
Yeah.
What happened to it?
That was probably the one that was just completely disintegrated in the pan.
See what he's gonna do to you? That.
Oh yeah, don't let him see.
I'm sorry.
No, we'll treat this one nice. We'll make sure no stupid fuel filter clogs happen to this one.
He's lying to you.
No, I'm gonna make sure that.
Look at those.
And everybody who's like getting ready to talk shit about either LS's or just the truck in general or tuning or whatever, we know what happened. It's been happening for a year. Clogged up the filter, it went lean. I just got lazy and I didn't check it when I should have, and this is the result. So, check your fuel system, check your fuel filters, because that was a stupid mistake. Like that was an easy thing to fix, and it would have saved us a lot of time and money. But good thing these things are relatively cheap. And no, I'm not going to gap the rings. No, we're not going to put pistons and rods in it. We're just going to do lifters, head studs, regular old LS9 head gaskets, and probably reuse those head studs. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. We'll probably do another video of getting this motor all prepped for getting put back in the truck. And yeah, we'll just use as much as we can from this, which isn't gonna be a whole lot. I mean, we're gonna take like some of the covers off. We gotta get the pulley off. I'll probably take some of the hardware from it, and then just, if somebody says the block is you know, not really usable anymore, then we'll ditch it. Because we got to take the crank out and see if any of the journals, and how much else got screwed up. But we'll see. So that'll be the next video. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment as usual. If you guessed it right on which cylinders and how much damage there was, you get a crisp high five next time I see you. But it was basically 2 pistons, 2 rods, and the head gasket technically also went out, but no windows. And the heads were dinged up too, but they weren't completely destroyed. So anyway, we will see you on the next one.